It's the day of the Super Bowl, and all Star Wars fans everywhere are highly anticipating and excited for the footage we will be getting tonight during the Super Bowl, one of the biggest, most televised events of the year. Wait, what do you mean there's no Star Wars spot? Join our fast-growing community of nerds and have your voice become a part of the content by participating in our polls and Q&As. Oh, and subscribing helps. What's up, everybody? Happy Star Wars Sunday to you, or maybe you're watching this later on. I do want to say, too, there is a small percentage chance that I'll be wrong and there will actually be Star Wars footage during the Super Bowl, and I'd much rather do this video and have it be completely pointless and then have Star Wars footage. But the reports are, as of now, that there's not going to be any Star Wars footage. So let's talk about this. Like, why might this be happening, and do we think this is a good idea? First, let's shout out David Mazingo, who got the nerd card question correct the last time we talked about the trailer coming for the Super Bowl. Back then, we kind of thought it would actually happen. Either way, you know your stuff when it comes to Star Wars, David, so shout out to you, and we will do another nerd card question at the end of this video. All right, so you probably are aware, or maybe this video is making you aware, but there's actually no plans to have a Star Wars TV spot during the Super Bowl this year. And this despite the fact that Disney bought up a lot of spots for the Super Bowl. I mean, I want to count them up. We'll talk about this probably on the Nerdy News Rundown on Monday, but I believe Disney has probably 4 or 5 spots that they've picked up for the big game. And there's no Star Wars one. Another thing that makes this whole story even more confusing is the fact that there were multiple reports that Lucasfilm had not 1, but 2 trailers ready to go around December of last year. This is reported by more than just Mike ruining the internet zero, so we tend to believe it. And so basically you're telling me that Star Wars has a movie coming out later this year, has the opportunity to put footage of that film in the most televised event of the year. They've literally have a trailer already ready to go, and yet they aren't gonna do it. And if you're like me, you're probably like, dude, what the fuck? Now remember, earlier this year, there were reports that the reason we did not get that Star Wars trailer in December or in early January was because Disney wanted word of mouth to focus on Marvel. They want to just focus on all their Marvel stuff right now, and then they want to do Star Wars later in the year. Now, normally I would say that's probably a good idea. I mean, technically that's kind of what we're doing on this YouTube channel, and by the way, there is a lot more Star Wars stuff coming to you guys, but plainly with Captain Marvel and Endgame right around the corner, I've chosen to really focus on Marvel right now, and my plan is to focus heavily on Star Wars towards the end of 2019, when we'll be getting The Mandalorian, hopefully, and of course, Star Wars Episode 9. And so again, I kind of get it. But at the end of the day, I think Star Wars is in a really unique position, and you know, we don't really love talking about what's going on with the fan divide right now, but it's the reality of the situation. I really think it would benefit the brand a lot if they were to give us a really cool teaser trailer during the Super Bowl, or at least before Star Wars Celebration. Because as I have said in other videos, I really think you want to shift the conversation as much as possible before Celebration, so that everybody comes in there talking about that teaser trailer, thinking about that teaser trailer. That would be what was on people's minds. As it stands, people are going to walk into Celebration with the same thing that's been on their mind So if they love Star Wars and they love where everything's going, that's what they're going to be thinking about. If they don't like where Star Wars is going on and they didn't like The Last Jedi, that's going to be what they're thinking about. And it's probably going to be what they're talking about. And I'm really curious what Star Wars Celebration is going to look like this year. I mean, I'm a little bit worried. I tend to believe that a lot of this internet stuff will kind of fall by the wayside as people actually interact with each other. I'm gonna be there. A lot of Star Wars like content creators or writers or people are gonna be there, and it's just gonna be interesting, man, to see like how all of these interactions go and what the state of this whole thing is. Like, is Kathy Kennedy gonna get booed, or are the people that try to boo people gonna get booed? Like, what's going on? I'm really interested to see how that goes down. And when it comes to Celebration, I can kind of see Disney thinking maybe, hey, let's save everything we've got for Star Wars Celebration. I mean, we really want to blow people away, and maybe their whole idea is Star Wars Celebration will turn things around in the fandom and get people really excited for Star Wars Episode 9. And I can see that, and maybe that will work. I mean, depending on what they show, maybe that will work. It'll blow everybody away. I mean, there's a lot of people excited for the new season of the Clone Wars, for The Mandalorian, for the new show with Cassian Andor, of course Star Wars Episode 9, but even beyond that, maybe the Dan and Dave films, perhaps a little bit of tease of the Old Republic coming to Star Wars. That could work, but I also just don't really trust Disney PR. I mean, they've gotten themselves into a terrible situation when it comes to like what's going on with the fan base. They've done a very poor job with controlling the narrative that's out there about their films and about their fans, and it's really put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. I mean, as I always try to say, guys, there's a ton of very reasonable people that did not like The Last Jedi, and basically because of kind of shitty PR practices by Disney, they get sort of lumped in, even in the media, with people that are like haters or bigots or just terrible, terrible people. And so I think if Disney is trying to like wait out the storm, that's a terrible idea. You need to just kind of come at this thing headlong and just give us amazing stuff. Like, I don't think the formula for fixing what is going on in Star Wars right now is that complex. Make amazing Star Wars stuff, tease us with it, get us pumped to check it out. So I wanted to pop in and talk about this because, you know, I'm sure a lot of us out there are feeling the same way. We're like, man, I really want a Star Wars trailer. Like, I'm really bummed that we're not getting a teaser trailer or a TV spot at the Super Bowl. And I wanted to just bring up the question to you guys, like, why do you think this is going on? Do you think they're saving everything for Celebration? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think that's a mistake? I mean, whatever you're thinking about that, I really want to know. I mean, this isn't like a necessarily great video of content, but I wanted to make this video and talk about why there's not going to be this trailer so we can all sort of vent our frustrations and then kind of gather ourselves and see like what we think is going on and if we think it's a good idea on Disney's part. All right, that's it for now. I do have a lot of really cool Star Wars content on the way, so Star Wars Sundays are going to start ramping back up in 2019. Make sure you come back every Sunday to check that stuff out. And let's check the nerd card before we get out of here. I want to know, what planet did Leia tell Vader the Rebel base was on before he blew up Alderaan? It was, of course, a lie, but the question remains, what was that planet that she told Vader the Rebel base was on? As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.